Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead discussion topic video. We got some new news for The Walking Dead Season 7. We got some info. There's going to be 2 new characters we have released short descriptions for. Great, so nice to finally get some new info for The Walking Dead. Last year, this time we got the banner, so I'm looking for a banner soon. AMC, you owe us a banner. It doesn't have to contain spoilers. Just give us a banner, man. I want to see some cool Negan promo images for Season 7. So this is a cool one. So 2 new character names revealed with short descriptions of each, but it sounds like from the descriptions that they're most likely going to be brand new characters, and of course the names are subject to change. You don't know for sure. If they're going to actually use those names in the series. A lot of times they change the names around and, that kind of deal. They'll give us kind of a sort of like, not a fake name, but kind of, a press release name first, and then later we'll get to find out the character's actual name in the series. But the first one, and I'll put the link in the description to undeadwalking.com where the article is posted, is Naomi. So she is described as, quote-unquote, a grandmotherly type who, having lost so many loved ones, is now willing to do whatever it takes not to have to bury any more. At this time, it isn't known if she will be part of one of the other communities or a lone survivor, but Ausiello says she will make her debut in episode 6 of Season 7, which is pretty damn cool. So for the first one, I've been looking through the next few trades. That's why they're not in the backdrop, just for videos and that. So what comes after, of course, which will be coming up soon this season, and then March to War. Trying to figure out maybe who it could be, if it is a character or if they are characters that are not totally new to the TV series, because you never know for sure what they're going to do. The only one I can think of for Naomi is a character named Brianna, who's right here. She has a short conversation with Maggie at the hilltop, when Maggie's at the hilltop, and Maggie is mourning her loss. So if she was at the hilltop, I would, because it depends on how they go with Season 7. I'm not privy to any spoilers, but if they go in the premiere to the hilltop, of course, to still get Maggie some help. Maybe if she's healing and she's recovering. Episode 6 would be a little late, I think, to meet somebody at the hilltop that we haven't met yet. But she does have a conversation with Maggie about losing people and about mourning, and Brianna says that it pretty much shouldn't feel so common for people to feel mourning at this point, but in the zombie apocalypse, so many people are killed off and so many people die that it's almost like they get used to it. Like they get used to people dying, and they get used to seeing others mourn like it's something like they caught the flu or something. Yeah, so that's interesting. So we'll see. In the comic book series, Brianna, though, she's still not that important of a character. She does have that conversation with Maggie, but I'm trying to think, like, off the top of my head from all the other trades and everything as I've, reviewed all of these over the years, in every issue independently by itself. I'm trying to think, like, if there's anything else really big that she does. So if that is, in fact, Brianna, if Naomi is Brianna, that's cool, it's fine. But it could also be maybe somebody from the Kingdom. I don't think it'd be somebody from the Saviors. I don't think they have too many grandmothers around with them. I don't think there's many grandmothers that would want to, go and join the Saviors. I don't think so. So yeah, but it's cool. So I'm guessing she's probably from the hilltop or from the Kingdom, unless they're including like some other smaller new community or something, or a group of kind of random survivors out there. And I don't see any info on who exactly is playing them yet. The next one, next another character will make their debut in the same episode. This is a female named Jennie who possesses, quote-unquote, a sunny-side-up kind teenager, kind with a world-weary toughness. then it has odds are that these two characters will be introduced at the same time, with Jennie being a relative or close friend of Naomi. However, that information is not known at this time and is purely speculation. So what you would think with the Kingdom, in the Kingdom in the comic book series, there aren't really any other standout characters from the Kingdom than Ezekiel. Ezekiel and Shiva get all the attention in the comic books, as they should. But none of the other characters really have many talking points, so you don't have many pieces of dialogue with many other characters from the Kingdom. And in the TV series version, I would think they're going to have to add in some of that, because it's not the same medium as a comic book where, it's kind of like splash pages and, one scene into the other. Comic books are generally kind of more action-oriented, that kind of thing, and they don't have as much dialogue, even though The Walking Dead is a very dialogue-heavy comic book series compared to most your Marvel or your DC stuff. So it sounds cool. This Jennie character, she does remind me of Carl in a way, but we don't know how young that, teenager, but, well, I guess Chandler Riggs, he, in terms of look, he doesn't look like Carl in the comic book series where he's smaller at that point, and this is before the time skip, so he'd be like a young, like a preteen type deal. This would be, in the TV series version, I guess he is a full-on teenager. So it could be maybe the start of some kind of something for him. I don't know. He's got the thing going with Enid, but we haven't seen too much with it. That said, they're teenagers, and that's kind of how it goes. It's, it's a little, the first time, that kind of thing, and it's a little bit weird. So cool. So that's pretty much, let's see what the next part just says. Next, okay. Jennie, who possesses a sign of attitude, who sounds a lot like Beth, at least the writer from Undead Walking said, sounds a lot like Beth 2.0, kind with a world-weary toughness. I don't know if I get a Beth vibe from that, especially based on the age. I know Emily Kinney looks really young and everything, but, I don't know. That's a little tricky. So we'll see what they do with them. We'll see if the characters are very important, what they bring to the show, and how important they end up being. And we'll do some more Q&A questions, as some other things you guys have been asking recently. The first one for today will come from Rolls Off the Tongue. And he says, there are a few people as knowledgeable or bigger fans of Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead than you. These are the two biggest shows in the world. Would love to see you compare and contrast the style and attraction of these two shows versus each other. Lots to think about on what each show does better. So I decided I'm going to do that for sure, probably later this week or next week, because both season 6s have ended now for Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. And I haven't been doing too many Walking Dead videos lately, more Game of Thrones, because the season 6 finale of Game of Thrones was crazy this year, as it usually is. Same with The Walking Dead, the finales are usually pretty nuts. So I'll definitely do a video of that for sure. Plus, also Game of Thrones fans, Walking Dead fans have been fighting in the comments. They've been going at it. So we'll do a video like that, and I'll ask that everybody tries to keep the fighting to maybe that video, so that in other videos, other people can leave comments, and it all just isn't a hate fest where you start attacking each other. Because I don't see why you can't just like both shows. Like, I love both shows. The Walking Dead will probably always be my favorite series ever, but I love both shows. There's no reason not to. They're both fantastic. I mean, there aren't too many others like them out there. Breaking Bad was one for me, but aside from that, there aren't too many others I would put in the same kind of excitement territory as I get when I see new Game of Thrones or new Walking Dead, for sure. And with Game of Thrones ending in the next couple years too, that's going to be exciting. So we'll do a video on that for sure this week coming up. Next one's from Torrid, and he says, Trev, while we have the Walking Dead hiatus, I think it would be a great idea to do a top 10 greatest moments for each main character, be it like Glenn, Maggie, Rick, Carl, Michonne, Daryl, Carol. And yeah, for sure, Torrid, I'm going to be doing some videos like that, top 5s, top 10s, coming up. The usual stuff every year as I do. It's just this year, at this time, the Game of Thrones finale has been so crazy. I've been focused on that. Fear the Walking Dead was there too, so I was making more, videos for that versus last year when it wasn't on at all during that time. So, but we'll definitely do some of those, and we'll definitely get into those. And I think for this year, I should definitely do one for Glenn. That's for sure. And I don't think, if he is killed off, I don't think that's going to be one of his greatest moments. Mike Ermintrout says, Trev, do you agree, and speaking of Breaking Bad, that there should be a petition started to get Jonathan Banks on The Walking Dead? Mike would be an absolute boss in the zombie apocalypse. Well, here's the problem with that, right, Mike? Username Mike. if it's somebody recognizable, it might be a bad thing. Like if you cast somebody who is known from something else and is noticeable, it can take the viewer out of the experience a little bit because they're like, oh, that's so-and-so from this, right? I got a lot of that Stephen Ogg's character, of course, near the finale there for Walking Dead. We saw him in promos and stuff because he's Trevor in Grand Theft Auto. I think it's 5, right? I haven't played Grand Theft Auto for a long time. It's a great game. It's fun though, but I haven't played it for a while. But so for some people, I can see if that took them out of the experience, as long as they don't take anybody who's too big. But also, Jonathan Banks is older too, so it'd be awesome to see him. I personally would like to see Bryan Cranston in it if they ever could do it, but they'd have to get him to look quite a bit different. But he could be a great character though, and I'd love to see them do something with him in Walking Dead. That would be so fun. Next one's from PJ Gallegos, and he says, Trev, Q&A, do you live with your mom? Every couple of years I get stuff like this. These newer viewers, right? They haven't been following the channel for a while. So I'm pretty transparent with you guys. I actually did a move-in video when I moved into this house 3 years ago when Jess and I bought the house. So, no, I don't live with my mom. No, this isn't the basement. No, I don't live in my mom's basement. Yes, I am, in a serious relationship. No, my action figures do not repel women. Well, it's not a concern to me. Even Anyway, this is kind of a loaded question. This is something that trolls often say, is that, this is where you're seeing me right now. This is my office. I only work here. I don't sleep in this room or anything. It's a decent size. It's a smaller house, but it's a decent enough size house for 2 people. So, yeah, we love the house, absolutely. But no, I don't live with my parents, and I haven't lived with my parents for over 3 years. And even then, I was just saving to buy the house when I was living with them for a little while. So, but you younger guys, man, if you have to save to get yourself a house versus renting, it may be worth it, man. It may be a good idea to do that, because me and Jess, we did live in apartments before, but I don't know. I need, like, you guys understand with the channel, I need a house. Like, I have to have. I film right now. It's 3:30 a.m. If there was somebody right up there or right below there, they'd be like banging away. And I do this every day, like 7 days a week. Can you imagine being my neighbor? I must be the worst neighbor ever, dude. Like the worst ever. So no, we need a house, man. It's what it is. It's the nature of doing what I do, right? It's what it is. Next one's from Michael McMahon. And he says, hey, Trev, can you do a throwback review of the Comic-Con trailer from last year and compare it to the actual season? So that's a funny suggestion, Mike. Mike's been here for a long time. He knows about the channel. So he's been here forever. So thanks for your support, Mike, over the years. It's a great question. He has some awesome questions over the years, too. So you want to go back and look at the trailer from last year and look at how different the season ended up being from the way the trailer looked, because in that trailer, it looked like Morgan and Rick were going to go at it, right? I can stop him and all that stuff. So they do a good job of throwing us off. So I'm expecting this year the same kind of deal. I probably wouldn't do a whole throwback video on it because it seems kind of a waste, right, to do a whole video on that. But definitely that's fun to even think about, because the Gareth stuff, and definitely last year with the Morgan, and even the banner too they released, it's got like Morgan facing off with Rick, and that's not at all really what we see. I mean, they have a few lines here and there, like, I thought you don't take chances anymore. This kind of, there's not much. I mean, there's not much turmoil there. They mostly understand each other and respect each other. So this season, so that was a bit of a pretty big twist. I thought there'd be at least something there, but there wasn't, right? So there it is. And then Ben K says, Trev, I have a genius Walking Dead question. In Here's Negan 2, it is revealed that Negan's wife had cancer, and in part 3, you see her bald. Do you think this is why he likes Alpha? Please answer, okay? So I wanted to include this one for sure, because that's a great question. It could be, man, because we do, that's called transference in psychology, where you, for example, let's say someone hurt you who looked a certain way. Let's say you got in a fight and you lost, right? That always sucks if you get in a fight and you lose. Anybody who's fought enough knows that you don't win them all. You don't win every fight, regardless of what you're doing. Even if you're in MMA or boxing or something, you're not going to win every fight. But if somebody hurts you physically or emotionally, let's say you date somebody and it doesn't work out, then if you meet somebody down the road who looks the same way, who has the same physical appearance, at least similar in some ways, maybe same hair color, maybe same build if you fought them and you lost, this kind of thing, you may dislike that person for no apparent reason when you just met them, because of transference from previous relationships, from previous hurt, right? And the opposite could be true too. If you have somebody who they had a great relationship, they love someone so much, this kind of thing, and maybe that happened to them, it could transference to someone in the future if they lose their wife and then they're looking for someone else. It could, at least with regards to physical appearance. So it's an interesting quality that people do. And yeah, you're talking about transference, Ben, and absolutely it occurs with people. Absolutely. The easiest one is ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends. If it was really bad, a lot of times they may want to avoid people that look anything like that person that it didn't work out with. And it happens to everybody. Or like it can, I should say. It doesn't. It can. Jose Zepeda says, Trev, you should do a review of Prison Break. And so wanted to at least include this one to say that I've never really seen Prison Break. I'd have to go through and watch a lot of it. Is Sarah Wayne Callies, who played Laurie in The Walking Dead, is she still on Prison Break? You can leave a comment below and let me know, guys, because I'm not up with Prison Break, but it sounds like a cool show. And the guy who plays the main character was he played Captain Cold in the DC show Legends of Tomorrow. So that's fun. Diego Tuber says, hey Trev, I have a comic book series related question for Q&A. If you were Robert Kirkman, what or who would be the next villain? So that's really tough, man. Who would be like the next villain after Alpha and the Whispers? That's going to be hard to top, and I'm sure he's going to just crush his creativity trying to come up with, but he's great with coming up with characters. If you read Invincible, there are so many fun characters in Invincible, and even The Walking Dead too, that he's created, and Outcast is on right now. A lot of people have been talking about that. I'm not up with Outcast either. People ask me about that, and not really. I haven't really seen too much of it. It's Exorcism's not really my deal, but maybe I'll give it another try. We'll see if I get time. So, but next villain, man, really tough to say. So, I think I've answered one similar to that before. So you got to use your imagination and come up with something different that we haven't seen before, that's new and unique. So we haven't had that many villains in Walking Dead. There's probably more villains in Invincible than there are in Walking Dead. In fact, I'd pretty much guarantee it. And last one will be from Ches Mono, and he says, hey Trev, you don't believe they can fit the entire Whisper War into only 6 issues of the comic book series. What if they end the last part with Negan killing Alpha in an attempt to redeem himself? From there, it could be Negan and Rick against the rest of the Whispers in another 6 editions. If not, Negan might kill Alpha to become the new Alpha of the Whispers. I think my first idea is pretty far-fetched, but what are your thoughts on these theories? Well, with Negan and Alpha, you don't know for sure why Negan ceased to be so. It could be transference, like Ben brought up before, or he could just, he's been locked up, he hasn't seen a woman in a long time, and he respects other people that lead, like Rick. I'm sure he hates Rick, but he respects him either way. He probably respects Alpha because she's a leader of the Whispers. So, yeah, we could see it go either way. We don't know. We never really know what Negan's doing. Negan is the type of character where you can never really predict what he's going to do and if he's changed and if he really likes her, if he's playing with her. You never know what Negan's going to do. That's kind of part of who he is and that kind of joking, kind of crazy personality that he has. So it should be fun to find out, but I still stick to it. I don't think the Whisperer War is only going to be one story arc, 6 issues, which will only be converted to a few episodes of the TV series. I think it's got to be longer than that for sure. But it could be wrong. We'll see what Kirkman's got in store for us. We'll see. You never know. So, and that'll be it for today's Q&A. Send me more questions you guys have for The Walking Dead, and I'll be able to include them. This week coming up, I got to get my hands on that Here's Negan, but I haven't gone to the comic shop in a while, so I have to find a way. If anyone has it, if you haven't scanned or anything, you want to send it to me, I'd love to read it, man. I don't have a problem with buying it, but you can't buy it online. So it's what the hell, dudes? Image and Todd and Robert or Kirkman. Anyway, I'll wrap it up with this one, guys. If you like the video, you know what to do. The usual stuff. Please thumb it up below. You can also share and favorite. Heads up for the Game of Thrones versus Walking Dead video coming up this week. And that'll be it for this one. I'll see you guys again real soon for another. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya. You better subscribe.